All right, welcome back to episode 6, probably. This is not a planned episode, and it's not the day I usually record, but something was on my mind today. I was starting to vent about it, and I figured why not talk about it on here. I talked on one of the previous episodes about the waving hand of distraction and how we are using the media as an entertainment engine to distract ourselves from real issues. And today I just feel like this willful ignorance is coming to a head. Before I launch into this, I want to preface by saying if you think that I'm on your team, I'm probably not. And if you think I'm on the opposite team from you, I'm also probably not. Most people assume that I'm on the opposite side of the political aisle from them, arguing for the red team or the blue team, whichever one they're not on, because I don't agree with them and comply with their ideology 100%. I did not vote for Trump, Hillary, or Biden in the last two elections. In one of them, I voted all offices except for president, and I believe I abstained from voting for president in one. And in the other, I did the same, except I voted third party for president. So with those cards on the table, this is not a defense of any one individual or the red team or the blue team. This is just something that concerns me as a citizen, seeing our country being ripped apart by willful ignorance. For those of you who have listened to my earlier podcasts, you know my skepticism of masks and COVID lockdowns and the effects that they've had. But I am also vaccinated, so it's hard to pin me into a political corner when it comes to that issue as well. So with all that said, let's launch into what's bothering me today. Yesterday, a few friends started sending me memes of former President Donald Trump apparently wearing his pants backwards to a rally. And I've got to say, the memes were quite hilarious. So what's bothering me? Well, it's not the hilarious memes. It's the fact that Trump's all I'm hearing about in the news, and the timing is quite suspicious. As soon as he left office, Trump was banned from almost all media, including social media. So why is he suddenly the only thing that we're seeing on all media platforms? And am I the only person who's a little bit suspicious that it perfectly coincides with the Fauci emails that nobody who's allowed in the press room at the White House is asking any questions about? Some say he's back in the news because he just started campaigning and rallying again, but that's total bullshit. All media outlets made it very clear that they were not going to give him coverage ever again to allow him the platform to do what he did in the first election, which was win the election through the coverage of these outlets mocking him. And if that was true, it would be outright stupid because of the two dangers in front of us, it is the lesser in magnitude and immediacy. Fauci still sits entrenched in his seat, impacting American lives now and on a massive scale. A few days ago, someone I know asked someone they know if they had read the Fauci emails, and this person, who wears combat boots as a fashion statement, told them, "No, and I won't," implying that willful ignorance is somehow a virtue in today's culture. Yesterday was the anniversary of D-Day, a day when many brave Americans died horrible deaths to fight a similar ideology with an ironically similar fashion sense, who could do no wrong as long as the general populace was comfortable, where neighbors would send each other to their death to protect the status quo that benefited them. I find myself torn between wishing they were alive to tell us how crazy we're being and being grateful that they're not around to see what idiots we are. I have to wonder for them, what was the point of their sacrifice? There's a saying, hard times make hard men make soft times make soft men, and soft men make hard times. And right now we are soft people making a hard time. Whether or not you believe that any politician living today would ever lead this country towards dictatorship or fascism doesn't really matter, because with our heads buried so deeply in the sand, it's only a matter of time until someone takes that opportunity. So I ask you, why did those men go out and fight? Why did they leave their families and die? Why didn't they just live out the rest of their lives peacefully and let us deal with the shitstorm that would come with Nazism dominating the world? We seem to be hell-bent on destroying our own country and destroying each other anyways. Lately, I've started to wonder if being a good soldier, like they were in that generation, is like being a good parent. You do everything you can to protect those you love from every danger out there, but that protection from any hardship just turns them into ungrateful little shits. I'll tell you briefly what I think about the emails from what I've read so far. There's a lot of them. But I'm not going to tell you what you should think. Instead, I'm going to tell you that you should pull your head out of the sand and do your civic duty to be at least a little bit knowledgeable about what's going on around you and prioritizing where you focus your attention. There's some talk of evidence of perjury within the emails, but reading the emails that people are talking about there, I think it's very close, and there's no way that perjury would actually stick there. But I'm not so concerned with that one possibility of technically getting someone on perjury. My concern is how Dr. Fauci dealt with the American people in a way that was wholly dishonest and detrimental to American lives. He lied directly to the American people. He said one thing to friends and colleagues in his emails, and the very next day would say the opposite to the American public. He ignored expert advice for purely personal and political reasons. And when compared side by side with his speech, literally the day after an email is sent, he shows the behavior of a sociopath. I think that anyone who read the emails and made this sort of comparison or did some sort of deep dive on this issue would agree with me, but I don't really care so much that you agree with me. I care that you care. I care that you educate yourself on this subject and do your due diligence to protect this country. Stop accepting the lesser of so many evils and hold your leaders accountable. Better yet, get new leaders. Don't let the sacrifice of what truly was the greatest generation be in vain. As always, thank you for listening, and remember, I may be wrong, but that ability to test ideas, learn, and grow is what makes this country great. So be honest, allow yourself to be wrong sometimes, and be fearless in the exercise of your rights. If you want to reach out, to be honest, I may be wrong at gmail.com. And if you want to follow me on social media that I'm just getting started, it's TBH_I may be wrong on Instagram.